So is SaaS really dying? Over the past year, we've seen countless headlines claiming SaaS is dead and that AI will replace it entirely. While I agree there's some truth to that in the long run, it's not that simple. In this episode, I'll share what I'm actually seeing on the ground and a short story that brings it all to life. We're hearing more and more from industry leaders about agentic AI being used to rewrite entire business solutions, ERPs, CRMs, and the rest. The goal? Well, it's twofold. First, to strip out the huge costs and reliance that's built up around traditional SaaS, especially those per seat licenses and platform costs that have defined enterprise software for decades. And second, to move away from the rigid workflows that can't adapt to changing business conditions. It's almost like we're moving back to the era of bespoke software for each business, but with a difference. Instead of developers hard coding workflows for each organization, these new AI agents learn the business. They adapt, they take context from data, and they make decisions unique to how each company operates. Over time, they become deeply familiar with your processes, your customers, and your rhythm, creating a kind of living, evolving, bespoke system. Now, one view I really like is that business systems themselves have become commoditized, reduced to a system of record, while the real value, the intelligence layer, will be owned and operated by AI agents. Now, I've seen this firsthand, and it's a genuine game changer. The only question is how fast it will happen, because it's going to completely reshape how organizations consume software and how they pay for it. So rather than talking theory or another five-pillar model, I want to tell you a short story, one based on exactly the kind of real-world situations I'm seeing every day. Now, certain names have been replaced to protect identities. It all started about 10 years ago. Sam the Stickman was the operations director at Widgets Limited, a growing UK business with a healthy backlog of orders. The company was taking off. It seemed plenty of people shared Sam's enthusiasm for widgets. To keep up with demand, Sam decided it was time to modernize. After some research, he chose Big ERP, a cloud-based SaaS ERP solution for one of the big names in the enterprise software business, the Big ERP company. Colin, the sales rep from Big ERP company, assured him it was everything Widgets Limited needed straight out of the box. The processes were best practice, he said, the defaults would fit perfectly, and with that, Sam signed the deal, confident he set the business up for the next decade. As the new ERP went live and the business continued to grow, cracks began to show. The out-of-the-box processes didn't quite fit. But that was fine. Colin, the sales guy, had promised it was a flexible SaaS platform. Customization, he said, was always an option, not that Sam would ever need it, of course. So Sam began to tweak it. A field here, a workflow there. Before long, he was deep into configuration, scripts, and extensions. And truth be told, he loved it. He felt he was building something special, something unique to Widgets Limited. But while Sam was proud of his creation, others started to notice the side effects. The system had become complicated, so complicated that only Sam truly understood how it worked. Sam kept in touch with Colin. Colin was always dropping in to see Sam. As the system grew more complex, Sam found he needed new subscription tiers, extra connectors, and higher API limits. Consumption costs crept up. But it all felt justified. Big ERP was now the backbone of the business. Everything ran through it. Sometimes Sam worried about the level of dependence, but the recognition helped ease the doubt. The big ERP company regularly featured him at conferences, celebrating what he built. He was on stage sharing his success story, the model customer. And Sam felt proud. All that effort, all those late nights, it was being noticed. It felt like it'd all been worth it. Over time, the world began to change, and Sam didn't see it right away. Customers, retailers, and suppliers started demanding more. They wanted real-time visibility of orders. Operations became more distributed. New regulations appeared almost monthly. Customers expected multi-channel, hyper-personalized experiences, and competitors were starting to deliver them. Suppliers and partners were using AI automation to streamline interactions and drive down costs. Widgets Limited suddenly found itself on the back foot. The system that had once been their strength was now holding them back. Big ERP didn't offer any of this natively, and all those customizations that once made them special now made everything painfully slow. Gradually, the rest of the business began to see it. Widgets Limited just couldn't keep up. What had once felt like a competitive edge was now a weight. Every new customer demand, every market shift, every compliance change took longer and cost more to implement. People started to worry, and no one felt it more than Sam. He could see the world moving faster than the system he built, faster than he could move. The thing that once made him proud now made him anxious. Before long, the impact became clear. Sales began to slide, orders slowed, Widgets Limited was losing ground fast. Across town, Wadgets, their biggest competitor, was thriving. They'd embraced new tools, automated their workflows, and adapted quickly to what the market demanded. As Wadgets grew, widgets shrank. Customers moved on. The world that Sam had once mastered had changed, and his systems just couldn't keep up. Sam was in trouble. He needed a solution, and fast. Just when things couldn't get worse, Colin, the ever reliable sales guy, reappeared. He had good news, he said. The big ERP company had just released its latest version, faster, smarter, and more cloud native than ever. It would solve everything. All Sam had to do was sign a new contract, a full migration program, only £50 million, plus a fresh round of licenses, of course. Colin called it a strategic upgrade. Sam figured it was, well, the same problem, just bigger. Sam wasn't so sure this time round. It didn't feel right, and he didn't know what to do. Then suddenly Dave the agent arrived. Dave wasn't from big ERP. He didn't arrive with a contract or a migration plan. He had something different, a radical new approach that he wanted to share with Dave and assured him it wouldn't cost the earth, and Sam could gradually move to this new model. Dave called it Agentic Surround. Sam was still not sure, but wanted to hear more. Dave started to explain to a confused Sam that he could use agents to remove all that complexity, workflows and custom processing that he created. He explained that agents were self-learning, adaptable and action-based and would autonomously work towards a goal, meaning that with the right prompting and tuning, would over time get really good at doing what Sam had previously hardwired, while still being able to adapt to changing markets and a changing business. Sam took notes. This sounded amazing. Dave went on to explain that the agent wouldn't replace everything, at least not straight away. The ERP would still have a role to play, but a much smaller one. It would shrink back to what it always meant to be, a system of record, a reliable database. The real intelligence, the decision-making, the orchestration of work, that would now live in the agents. They'd handle the critical business logic, adapt to the change, and continuously optimize the way Widgets Limited operated. The ERP would simply store the facts. For the first time in years, Sam felt like things made sense again. Once Sam understood this, he felt he had nothing to lose and certainly didn't want to just give Colin another 50 million for more of the same. Dave got to work. He assessed the logic in Sam's existing system and then reviewed his business processes. Every process, every handoff, every decision point. He then designed a whole new way for Sam's organization to work by re-engineering the processes to become AI first. He infused AI into every part of the operation: procurement, planning, fulfillment, customer service, each one powered by agents that would learn, adapt, and act. When Dave finished, the business outcomes met what Sam needed. But the way he got there was radically different, far more efficient and adaptable and much less customization. Dave explained the agents were goal-based and would learn over time to continually improve how they action the necessary tasks to achieve the outcomes that Widgets Limited needed. It wasn't the same solution Sam had built 10 years ago. It was something far more intelligent. When Sam presented the new approach to the rest of the Widgets Limited team, the reaction was, well, mixed. They were optimistic, it sounded promising, even exciting, but they'd been here before. Big promises, bold changes, new systems that would fix everything. So this time they decided to watch and wait. Over the next few weeks, however, Widgets Limited customer base, sales and orders started to pick up quickly. They gained a reputation for adapting to new market drivers and business was good. Not only this, Sam had less to do as there was less complexity in the new system for him to deal with, less firefighting, troubleshooting and late nights. However, the more time Sam had on his hands, the more he missed the old days of awards and recognition from Colin at the big ERP company. He felt undervalued and not as critical to the business. The business was thriving, but Sam felt, well, less essential. This made him sad. However, Dave saw Sam's sadness and acted quickly. He presented him with an award from his own company, Widgets Limited, recognizing the work he had done to transform Widgets into an AI-first company. Sam got the recognition he craved and was soon giving talks to other departments, sharing his approach, how they built something smarter, simpler, and more human. Widgets became less and less dependent on the big ERP company, as they just used them to store data, and even that was gradually reducing. And a few months later, when Colin showed up with a once-in-a-lifetime deal on a new CRM for the big CRM company, Sam knew what to do, with a little guidance from Dave. So what can we learn from Stickman Sam? Well, SaaS has been around for a while, and chances are you've experienced firsthand how these systems have grown organically over time. Now, this won't change overnight, but it is changing now. New agentic AI solutions are being built as we speak, designed to thrust businesses into the AI era, whilst balancing existing commitments to suppliers and customers. So don't get left behind like Sam nearly did. Start planning your AI shift today, because Dave might not always be around to save you. See you next time.